Great day, you guys. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Hey, y'all, come on. It's Friday. Hey, Stacy, great morning. Hey, Ashley, great morning. Y'all, it's Friday, y'all. I'm so excited, y'all. So much going on. But listen, like this word today. Hey, gorgeous. Good to see you. Okay, so I'm coming over there earlier today. I don't know what your schedule is like, but we got to talk and figure that out, okay? Frida. This word today, y'all, listen. When I tell you that God does not make mistakes, I mean exactly that. Like everything concerning our lives is absolutely ordered. Can you believe that we're almost at the end of the fast? And I don't know about you, but so much has happened in my life during the course of this fast. So much has happened in me. Listen, I am beyond amazed at what God is doing and what he's done. So I'm super excited because today is day 18 of our Forward Focus 21 days to set focus and propel you into destiny. Great morning, my friend, all the way from New Orleans, okay, at NCA, the National Communication Association. Yes, honey, yes, representing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Jessica, great morning. Beautiful, great morning. So, look, y'all. Okay, so it is no accident that Carlos is on here. It is no accident the things that have happened during the course of this morning. So, I'm going to talk about my morning in just a little bit, but let me go ahead and get into the word, right? This is one of my favorite texts in the Bible because it is a literal confirmation of all that we are able to do when we come together. But then I'm gonna share some other stuff with y'all. Y'all gonna be like, what? Yeah, that's how deep it's been today. So let me get to the word. Let me get to the word, y'all. My God, today. I'm telling y'all, God ain't playing. Okay, anyway. So the scripture comes from Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. Look, he said, the people are united and they all speak the same language. After this, nothing they set out to do will be impossible for them. There is nothing impossible when we unite. Nothing. Nothing that's impossible. So, unity removes impossibility from your realm. When people are able to come together, then there is nothing that they cannot accomplish. So much so that God himself had to move to stop the people from reaching into the very heights of heaven. I really want you to think about this thing. The people of Israel had come together and decided to build a tower to reach heaven. And they were being successful in what they were doing to the point that it caused God to speak to the Son and the Holy Spirit and say that they had to go down and see what was going on. If the unity of the children of Israel at that time was powerful enough to make God himself come down to check on them and separate them by confusing their languages, then what would happen today if we got on one accord? Let me say this. Unity is a powerful concept, but an even greater action. When we operate in unity and on one accord, there must be movement. It has to be. Things have to change in our lives, our relationships, our families, our friendships, our jobs, our ministries, our everything. How do I know that this information is true? Even God had to actively stop the people from being able to communicate and have unity because of their power. So imagine what the enemy's first tactic is when God's people are operating in unity. You guessed it. Confusion, to create division, to keep us stagnant. At some point, we have to be able to recognize the tactics and stop letting the enemy create confusion. At some point, we have to have difficult conversations with people to get clarity and remove confusion. I tell people, listen, one thing about me is that if I said it, I said it. And if I did it, I did it. I will own it. I I have to tell people that so that if you value our relationship and something has been said that I said or did, then you know that you can come to me and ask me and get a truthful answer and clarity. Today, don't let the enemy, or in the words of my brother, Pastor J. Rick Rollins, the enemy cause confusion to stop what God is trying to do in your life. I refuse to not connect to those who in unity, we can change the world if we agree. Now, listen, let me tell y'all something. There were a couple of things that happened this morning that really solidified for me the power of this word and why this word was the word for today. Okay. So the first thing was this. I got up this morning. Listen, let me tell y'all. I love God. This is why I love him. Okay. So I got up this morning. I woke up in the wee hours and I finished Step Up 3, right? Step Up 3, the series, right? So I finished that, right? And I was looking for something to watch. And as I'm in Prime Video, right? I'm scrolling, I'm trying to find something to watch, something that's interesting. And I see a documentary called 20 Pearls. Okay. So 20 Pearls is a documentary about Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, of which I am a member, right? I joined Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated in the spring of 1985, pledged with my 3 line sisters. I pledged the second semester of my freshman year. Yeah. So I haven't been active in the sorority probably since I haven't been active in a graduate chapter. So not since I graduated undergrad have I been active. I haven't been active. So I watched the documentary. I said, let me just watch this documentary. So I'm watching the documentary. And was really blown away at the things that the founders did, right? So I'm feeling real convicted, right? Because I have not allowed myself to really be active in the sorority. I've really minimized what the sorority does, like just really took it for granted, right? So I'm watching it and I'm watching the moves that they made politically. Not only was it the first African American sorority established, but like watching what they did politically, how they impacted the political landscape of the United States of America. Watching the things that have been done in communities, the different initiatives. And, I just realized like I really been sleeping on my sorority. Like for real, for real. I've been sleeping on my sorority. But I saw a post from my sister. You all know the lady Apostle Tammy Robinson. That's my sister. That's my girl. And she was talking about how she was no longer going to be covering an organization, a ministry that she helped to revamp. They helped to build up in Jamaica. That she was no longer going to be covering it. That they had decided that she was not a fit covering because of some video that they allegedly saw where she was gyrating like a video vixen. Okay. So I read it and I was like, they came together. And when I tell you, they did things that looked absolutely impossible. When I tell you that they raised over $50,000 and used over $50,000 to build up that ministry, to rebuild a building that was literally like almost falling apart, like to equip it with indoor bathrooms, to like all the things that they did. Like they did so much, right? And it wasn't a huge team of them. It was a handful of them who went and did this work. They labored, and they've been doing this for a few years now, working to build this ministry up, right? And so now that it's built up, the building is redone. Things are in place. They no longer want her covering. She's unfit. You see how the enemy creates division, right? So then I'm in awe of God, because I started thinking about the First Ladies Club. There was an organization that I started. It was not a Greek letter organization, but it was something for young women who may not have wanted to be Greek or may not have wanted to be Greek right then, right? Where they could come together and have a sisterhood and learn how to be ladies and stuff. And the fact that it was established in November 15th, officially, November 15th, 2006. Yeah. And today, in 2022, 16 years later, it's still in operation. It's still growing. It's still thriving. There are members of the First Ladies Club that have gone on to pledge Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. Listen, they've pledged other sororities. They pledged sororities and still maintain their connection to the First Ladies Club, right? Because of the sisterhood that exists. Now, why am I telling you this? Listen, one of the charges that is levied against us as Black people is we can't come together. We are the greatest economic force in America. Do you hear me? Spend the most money of any group of people in America. And we can't freaking come together. Literally, if we just came together, there would be nothing that we could not accomplish. But we can't come together. Like, we allow infighting, bickering, differences. We don't agree on everything, so we don't agree on nothing. I don't get it. Even in our families, we divided in our families. We're divided in our relationships. It's Black men against Black women. Listen, why? Because the enemy's tactic against anything that is great is division. Hold on, y'all. Let me refresh because I know. Okay, so I knew that there were more of you on here than 6, and I also knew that y'all were saying stuff. Okay, so let me go back. Let me go back. Just a minute. You know I love you too, Carlos. Hey, Kareem. Hey, April. Hey, Corey. Hey, Mike. Great morning. Right, Carlos. Carlos is a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, our brothers. Yeah. And I think, Carlos, listen, I honestly believe that part of the reason that we began to sleep on it is as we get engrossed in our graduate studies, as we get engrossed in other things in our life, we forget about that bond and the power of that bond. And yes, I can go places and I see people, hey, soror, like you see it, but like life happens. And if life is happening for you, because remember, I had a baby like my junior year. So my life totally changed. I was still active. They needed my GPA because my GPA was like busting heads, right? But I wasn't really active. I was active, but I wasn't active. I was financially active, but I wasn't always socially active, right? So I wasn't, right? Right, Stacy, right. So listen, y'all. I'm telling y'all, great morning. Hey, Pastor McGriff, what's going on? So listen, why am I telling y'all this? We, me, you, us, can do absolutely anything that we set our minds to together. The key is in the unity, getting on one accord. When you get on one accord, baby, can't nothing stop you. I literally was watching the documentary like these were some bad women. Like they were bad. It was not just about social or parties. Like literally, they changed legislation. You know, they hanging out with the first lady of the United States, right? Like literally, y'all, I didn't realize how much the fingerprints of Alpha Kappa Alpha was on so many major things that have happened in the course of the evolution of this country, period. Even down to women being in the military. Y'all, if you have not, listen, and I know you probably haven't watched the documentary 20 Pearls, it's not just about the soror, it's about the sorority, but I don't want you to watch it just about the sorority. I want you to watch it and see the history of what unity can do. And it didn't take a lot of them to do it. Literally, it did not take a lot of them to do it. And it also shares the power of resilience when you believe in something. Now, look. So it was talking about, you know, the Delta Sigma Theta, was an outgrowth of a separation of Alpha Kappa Alpha. They decided they wanted different colors, they wanted different letters. They didn't like the motto. They wanted to do something different. So they left Alpha Kappa Alpha, right? They came in and they were just going to change this stuff. And they were like, oh, no, the founders established this for a reason, right? So they decided to separate and start their own thing. See, I'm a firm believer that you've got to do what works for you and what's right for you, right? I'm not mad because Delta Sigma Theta was started. Listen, I think it's an amazing thing when um you can create something that lasts, right? Both organizations have value. Absolutely. All of the Greek letter organizations have value. And for those of you that say, oh, it's anti-God, it's anti-Christianity, if that's your belief, I respect that. I respect that. I just know for me, I understand the value of what the organizations were developed to do, which was provide sisterhood and brotherhood for people of color on college campuses and even on HBCUs, but particularly on campuses of predominantly white institutions, which is where I was, right? I didn't go to an HBCU. The closest I got to that experience was teaching at HBCUs. Now, the unity, I'm talking about unity, y'all. I'm talking about us being able to come together. So we can't come together. We can't agree to disagree on things. We can't see differing perspectives. We can't seem to focus on a unified goal and let that be our goal, right? Even though we have differences in how we get there or what we think about it or how we feel. Listen, we've got to grow beyond that, but it requires what? Maturity. Grow up. You got to grow up. We don't have to agree on everything. I find it interesting that my leadership team for Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purposes Ministries consists of people with different backgrounds. That's what I'm going to say, with different backgrounds, right? I consider myself a follower of Christ, a kingdom builder, right? Listen, that's how I see myself, right? I have in my leadership team, this is going to sound crazy, right? A sister who follows Islam, a sister who is a what people call a Black Hebrew. We all Black Hebrews. But that's a whole nother conversation. But we all come together with our differing experiences, with our different backgrounds, and we come together and what? Move forward kingdom, move forward growth, progression, evolution, right? Because there's some things that we just agree on and we focus on what we agree on and we move forward, right? On a mission, on a mandate that was handed down to me from God that I did not want. You understand what I'm telling you? But he sent people alongside of me who may not espouse exactly the same views on everything, but we agree on enough that we're able to move forward. So check this out. The enemy's goal and tactic is always to create division. And one of the ways that the enemy creates division systematically is by having situations arise and people not have a conversation about it, or us being so rigid and judgmental that we can't see beyond our perspective, right? We lack what's called emotional intelligence. We don't have empathy. We don't know how to empathize. We don't know how to expand our view or our vision or our perspective. I'm not telling you don't believe in what you believe in, but what I'm telling you is it a thing that's going to prevent the mission, whatever the mission is, from being able to go forward and be accomplished? If it is not, is it worth destroying, breaking relationships? I'm just asking questions right now. Okay. I'm asking questions, and I'm asking these questions because do you not understand that the enemy's tactic is always absolutely the same? Division. Why do you think that's always the tactic? Because he understands when we are united and when we are on one accord, then nothing can stop us. So, what happens in marriage? Division. Well, how can there be division? Maybe y'all don't have a common mission. Maybe y'all aren't clear on what your mission is, period, not individually nor collectively. See, because if you got a collective mission, right, the mission supersedes the um um individual desires, right? Marriage is bigger than our individual desires. But because we haven't built marriage like that, most people haven't anyway. We haven't built marriage like that. We can't survive the tough stuff. So Coretta Scott King was a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. She was active in civil rights before she met Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They got married, they had these amazing children, and now it is known that he had extramarital affairs. Okay. Um, why would she stay? You think that lady didn't know that man was having affairs? You think she didn't know? Come on, y'all. She knew. But they had a mission to accomplish that was bigger than that. Now, I'm not telling y'all to just be out here in marriages where, people are having extramarital affairs. But listen, what I'm going to say is this. She understood that there was an assignment greater than that piece right there that was going on, right? She understood that there were um there was legacy being built. My grandmother, my granddaddy had another woman, at least one that we knew of, right? I didn't find out until I was a teenager, and it really affected me and how I viewed him and how I viewed my grandmother, because I couldn't understand why she would stay with him and allow him to do this mess. And like, what are you doing? But she understood that they had a greater mission, and that greater mission was family. That was the greater mission, right? She understood that there was something that she had to do to hold our family together. Do you think she liked it? No, she didn't like it. No, she didn't like that. She did that. And I believe firmly that part of what she did for me. Listen, I'm sitting here and this is just connecting for me. I'm thinking about the family in general. She didn't want to disrupt the family, but even more, they had custody of me. Now, I'm mad at her for staying with him when she very easily could have been going through a lot of what she went through, not just for family, but specifically for me. But I'm mad at her. And now I don't have the same level of respect for her. So now, as an adult woman with children of my own who have children, I'm looking at it and looking back, and I've got to reassess my view and my perspective, because my perspective may have been wrong. I may have been seeing it wrong. I may not have been seeing all of it because I didn't understand. I'm 14 years old. What do I understand about that? All I knew was I didn't want to be so tied to a man that I couldn't leave if he was acting a fool and cheating on me. All I knew was I didn't want to go through that. All I knew was I was determined that I wouldn't allow a man to have so much of my heart that he could do the stuff that I was seeing done to the women that I loved and me just stay. That's all I knew, but I did not understand. This is why you've got to allow your kids to stay in a child's place, because they don't understand all of the dynamics of marriage. they haven't experienced enough relationships. They haven't experienced enough heartbreak. They haven't experienced enough responsibility to fully understand all of the dynamics that go into it. And if you be honest, when you were a child looking at your parents' relationships, whether they were together or not together, you didn't really understand, and you probably didn't begin to understand until you became grown. And then when you became grown, you could all of a sudden begin to take the perspective of your parents. If your daddy wasn't there, you could maybe, as a man with children, having dealt with women, understand how a man could find himself in a place where he wasn't spending as much time with his kids, as the child wanted to spend, or how a woman can make life so difficult for a man that he prevents her. She prevents him from being able to be the father that he wants to be to a child. Or as a woman, how she can feel when a man is not carrying his load, is not handling his financial responsibilities. So all of that is tactics designed to create division, to keep us separated and apart. But do you know what happens? Listen to me. When we get clear about not only the purpose of marriage, but the purpose of relationship, covenant, when you get clear about that, then when somebody says something that you don't like, you're not so quick to cut them off and throw them away. You begin to be willing to have difficult conversations and address things. See, that's why I put in there, listen, this is why I tell people, if I said it, I said it. If I did it, I did it. I'll own it. So that when, notice I didn't say if, when something transpires and someone comes to you with something saying, well, Dr. V said, Veronica said, Ron said, that you can come ask me. Stop taking people's word for stuff, who often have ulterior motives. Stop assuming, because you may be making a story up in your head that's not accurate, and it may be accurate, but ask me that ish and let me tell you. We got to get to the point where we can have a conversation when something bothers us, as opposed to simply tossing out the baby with the bathwater. Now, y'all may not understand how significant that is, but I grew up in a 3-room house with no indoor plumbing. And so when we got an opportunity to take a bath, it was once a week. It was on like Sunday night. And it was a metal tub that the water was put in, and all of us would have to bathe in that water. Okay, so when we talk about throwing out the baby with the bath water, like, that has a whole nother meaning to me. The bath water didn't get thrown out until the last person bathed. The last of the kids had to take their bath. Okay, I just wanted to go first because I didn't want to get in nobody else's dirty water. I wanted them to be, y'all can get my, I just want to go first. Okay, but y'all listen. I'm so proud. Listen, I'm saying this publicly. I'm so proud of my family, because I promise you, my family has been really fractured and fragmented and discombobulated. And I'm so proud because I'm watching. I watched the whole tone of our Thanksgiving dinner change. I watched the whole attitude. And see, this is why you can't abdicate your spot in your family. You can't abdicate your responsibility to be present. To listen, you want to talk about it's jacked up, but you ain't present to create change, right? No, it don't work like that. If you want to talk about what's wrong with it, then you need to be an active participant in making it better. Stop. We got to stop complaining about what's wrong with things, places, and situations without trying to be an active participant in creating change. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, I'm not giving y'all passes on that. I know the holidays are coming up. Some of y'all aren't speaking to some of your family members. You don't fool with this one. You don't fool with that one. I get it. I get it. I get it. But guess what? Y'all still family. And at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to make sure that our kids and their kids and their kids' kids know each other. We got a responsibility. We have a responsibility to do that. Why is that important? That is what legacy is. Legacy isn't just about your household. Legacy is about the entire family. Okay. And granted, we may have gotten things wrong. Yes, absolutely we did. Right. That's life. But it doesn't mean that we cannot course correct. If GPS can reroute, why we can't reroute? Why we can't come together? Why we can't get on one accord? How is it that all of these people are people of God, but they can't get on one accord about nothing? That's a problem. Because the God that I know is not the author of confusion. So if God is not the author of confusion, where is the confusion coming from? Hell, the hell inside of the people. I ain't talking about hell, Lucifer. I'm talking about the hell inside of the people. So we abdicate being able to come together to accomplish. And we ain't got to agree on everything. We ain't got to believe the same thing. We don't have to celebrate the same things. We don't have to celebrate it the same way. But listen, we can come together to do what? Good. If we can't come together to do good, that's a problem in and of itself. That's a problem. That is a problem. So listen, we're talking about unity, and I understand the power of unity. And so I'm going to make a plea for unity. Okay? I'm going to make a plea for unity. So listen, I'm putting my Cash App up here. Now today, the Cash App ain't for me. If you want to send me something separate, right? But I'm putting the Cash App up because one of the leaders on my team and her family, I ain't talking about her church, I ain't talking about no organization, just her and her family decided that they were going to feed the homeless for Thanksgiving. Okay. They were going to feed the homeless for Thanksgiving. They were going to come together. They were going to fix food. They were going to put together bags of necessities for the homeless in order to help them. She's selling jewelry. She's allowing proceeds from the jewelry to go to that. But I'm not talking about no jewelry. I'm not talking about the jewelry right now. Y'all can go do that. But right now, what I'm doing is I am challenging everyone on this live and everyone who watches this live, right, to sow a seed into the life of someone homeless. Now, listen, let me say this. There's some things that I know about me. Listen, when it comes to a lot of outreach and mission work, there's some things that I may or may not do, right? I fed the homeless before, but I may or may not, but what I will do, let me tell you what I will do. I will sow a seed so that those who feel called to go do that. Now, I'm not saying I don't do it, but I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. It's like international missions. Like I want to do it, but I'm not there yet. But what I can do right now is I can sow seed so that the people who are going to do it can have what they need, right? So Jackie and her family are feeding the homeless and putting together care kits for the homeless. Listen, I'm so proud of them, one, for making the decision to do that. And two, because they're going to take the time when most people are spending that time with their family just eating and serving, right? So I'm challenging you all to sow a seed. And in the comment or in the for area, put feed the homeless. Feed the homeless, right? Feed the homeless. I want y'all to put that in the comment. Sow a seed to help them feed the homeless. She didn't ask me to do this. She didn't know I was going to do it. I didn't know I was going to do it. But I felt compelled today with this word to do this. Now, you may not believe in Thanksgiving. You may not celebrate Thanksgiving. You may not, feel like you may feel like homeless people are there, whatever you feel, right? But can you support somebody who has made a decision to come together with their family and do something that all of us, I don't want to say should be doing, but they feel compelled to go do this. Hold on, y'all. I'm finna okay. All right. So sow a seed. Let's come together on one accord in unity and provide them with additional resources to do what they're going to do. Now they're going to do it anyway. They were going to do it with or without help. They were going to do what they could do, but I want to extend their reach. I want to help them do more than they had planned on doing. When I was watching a documentary about Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, it was talking about the day that they decided that what the organization had decided that we were going to raise $1 million in one day, and did it 3 times. Raised $1 million in one day, 3 years. Y'all, they raised $1 million in one day. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Because we can do something, right? So I'm challenging you all. Listen, this is my goal. Hold on. My goal is to raise a minimum of $500 to help them do what they want to do. A minimum of $500. Okay. Now, that's 10 people sewing $50. Okay. That is 20 people sewing $25. Okay. That is, I'm doing some math. That's 50 people. I said 50. Let me, I'm going down. That's, yeah. Anyway, y'all get the picture. Sow a seed, right? Now, why is this important? I know what it's like to be homeless. I know y'all don't think I do because I got a freaking PhD, but I know what it's like to be homeless. I wasn't on the streets homeless, but I was without a home. I just know what it was like starting over. Imagine being on the street. And when I've gone and I've served, and we fed the homeless, listen, to see the people and hear their stories is amazing. Jackie said, thank you so much, Dr. V. I'm so glad God placed it on your heart to do this. The homeless is personal to me because a few years ago, I lost home, car, and everything due to a medical condition. If it had not been for God and family, I would have been homeless. Y'all, that's real. That's real. That's the give back. That's the give back. Y'all, listen. Sow a seed to advance. You never know what you're going to experience, but I know this. I know that when people look at people who are homeless on the streets, they don't understand. I've had students in my school who were homeless, and but they're still trying to get an education. And so it's serious, it's personal, and it is an act of kindness. Mike talked today about acts of kindness and how they ought to be just a regular part of our existence. And I'm one of those people that, like, I give, I sow, and it's important to me. It's important to me to be kind-hearted to people, to have grace, to have mercy. But y'all, listen, I want us to be able to do something and have an impact. Okay. So my goal is $500. Will y'all help me raise $500 so that we can advance this cause? I just think it's really important that we get outside of ourselves. And so today, I'm not asking you to sow into me, but let's sow into this. Let's sow into, what they're doing, what their family's getting ready to do, especially if you're not getting ready to do it. Sow into someone who is doing it and help them to facilitate it. So Cash App $DRV Walters, Cash App $DRV Walters, or PayPal.me/DRV Walters. And we're going to transfer that seed over to Jackie. And I want to be able to present her with a great seed for what they're doing. I want her to be able to show I want her to be able to see that the support that she shows me and my platform is coming back to her as she's trying to do something that impacts the lives of people positively. She said, my family made a decision to do this during both holidays and throughout next year. Amen. Amen. You see what I'm talking about? This is why we got to get beyond ourselves and our individual quirks and issues with people so that we can do things that make change, right? God looked down and he saw them building a tower into heaven. And he said, let us go down. Because if we don't, they get ready to do it. Because there's nothing that's impossible when they're united, when they're on one accord. And I want you to remember this. I want you to remember it in your friendships, in your business relationships, in your marriage, in your romantic relationships. Baby, have something that y'all can be on one accord about, that y'all fight for. You know what I'm saying? That's bigger than you and how you all feel about each other at any given point. That will be a thing that galvanizes you to come together to fight, right? United we stand. There's nothing that's impossible when we're united. You all listen. Cash App $DRV Walters, PayPal.me/DRV Walters. Okay, so I told you all this month during the 21-day fast that every day that I would give you an individual word. So if you would like an individual prophetic word, put a 1 in the comments, 1 in the comments, 1 in the comments. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to refresh my screen just because there's something going on with Facebook. So let me refresh so that I can see everything. All right. Jessica. I don't know why I hear the song If Only You Knew How Much I Do Love You. Um, but that's what I'm hearing. I'm not sure what that song means to you, but if only you knew how much I do love you. Um, it's it's some division, but it's fixable. The division is fixable. Um, and I feel like what I'm getting is that it deals with your family. It's not romantic. It's like family. It's something with family. I don't know, but it's something with family. Ashley, I know it's frightening, right? What God has told you to do, it's frightening. But there's somebody that when you all get on one accord, you're going to be able to do it. And it's going to benefit both of you. Um, but you got to have the conversation. You've not been willing to have the conversation because you're afraid to have the conversation. Have the conversation, get on one accord, and make it happen. Ebony. I see like a quilt. You know, there are different pieces of fabric, right? There's different pieces of fabric, different designs, all being put together to create the warmth and the security that a blanket provides. So get ready to start stitching some things together, some pieces of the puzzle together. Carlos. I don't think it's an accident that this word is coming while you're at NCA, right? Um, there's some connections that you have where the connections have not been as tight. It's time to reconnect and tighten those up. It's time to reconnect and tighten those up. Okay. April. Watch what God does. Baby, these holidays are going to blow your mind. Watch what God does. Watch how God mends. Watch how God heals. Watch how God does what only God can do. Watch what God does. That's what I'm going to say to you. Watch what God does. God is not done. Watch what he does. Corey, Corey, um, listen, it's coming together. It's coming together. Everything is coming together. Everything is working for you, not against you. It's working together for your good. Watch what God does. I'm telling y'all, that's the word that I'm hearing. This is a corporate word. Watch what God does. Watch what God does, right? Don't get caught up in what you see. Watch what God does. Begin to put before your eyes what you desire to see and watch what God does. Watch how he does that. Watch how he brings it together. Watch how he manifests it in your life. Watch what God does. I say that with boldness, baby. Watch what God does. I'm telling you, God ain't playing. Stacy, oh my God, baby, I need you to release the fear and the anxiety about your Thanksgiving trip because God is going to blow your mind with the amount of love that you're shown and the similar, like how God is just going to pull everything to watch what God does. That's what I'm going to say. Watch what God does and watch how God moves because God is building family, family, family. Jackie, you guys are going to make even greater impact than you all had planned. Y'all are going to do more than you thought. It's going to be bigger than what you thought. And I literally see a nonprofit developing from what y'all are doing. I literally see a nonprofit developing. So get ready. Get ready. God is doing this. Donnell, where there is division, God is bringing unity. Where there is division, God is bringing unity. He literally is bringing unity, but it's going to require that you have some difficult conversations. Have the conversations and let God do the rest. Catherine, I don't know why I see this, and I've been seeing this, and I kind of alluded to it, but I didn't really say it outright. But the other side of your family, I see you connecting more with the other side of your family. I see that coming. I see mending in that, and a really you getting a greater understanding of yourself, as well as your father. Watch what God does with that. Kareem, I hear it's a family affair. It's a family affair, and it's time for the things that are broken in your family to be mended. You can't fix other people, but what you can do is be present and not allow your saboteurs to prevent you from being present. I'm talking about really being present, right? And allow God to do the work that you can't do without taking it personally. It's not personal, right? I'm talking to myself too. You're so welcome, Carlos. Amen, Corey. Amen. Listen, I pray that this word blessed you. I know it blessed me. It blessed my socks off, right? I was blown away by it. And I was blown away by everything that God has done already this morning. And I'm super excited because y'all tonight I go to the Monica concert. I told y'all I was going to that concert. I'll go if I have to go by my listen, I'm going to this concert and I'm super excited about it. I'm excited because I feel like God is putting me in a place where I really start getting comfortable with doing things by myself, right? I really feel that. I feel like that's what he's doing. I don't necessarily always like it. I can do it, but I don't necessarily always like it. But I'm just excited about even connecting and spending time with different people in a different way, a different capacity. One of the things is about my life is I've spent my life around a lot of students, right? I've been a lot of a mama to a lot of people, a big sister to a lot of people, a mentor to a lot of people. And just like with my kids, I have to allow them to now be grown, right? And to begin to build and develop relationships, not as teacher and student, but woman to woman, you know, and as adults, you know. And so I've been watching God kind of do this in my life, right? Where these people that I taught when they were 18, 19, 20, 21, and now they like whole grown people with grown kids. Frida, I remember her son coming to class with her, and the boy is grown. He grown. I said, what is going on? Y'all, I've been doing this thing a very long time. And so I'm excited because I've got a lot of those former students in the Nashville area. And so I'm excited to see what God is doing with this, and committed to taking a little more time to spend some time just spending time with them, you know, hanging out with them. I might do a whole little Dr. V reunion thing over there in Nashville so that I can spend some time with some of my former students, and we just go somewhere and eat. Y'all know I believe in doing things around food. Okay. Um, who knows? Like, I feel like there's a reconnect that's happening for me. So today, make a conscious decision to get on one accord and watch what God does. And I want to give a special shout out to Corey. Corey, hold on, y'all. Let me show y'all. Hold on. So Corey did the she changed the image for this. Now y'all might say, but you know, it's been being changed, right? But Corey had to stretch. She had to stretch. And I'm super proud of her. Congratulations, Corey, on your stretch. Awesome job. Beautiful. You did your thing. Listen, look at God. Won't he do it? Look, I pray that you guys are blessed. I pray that you have a blessed day. I'm going to be going live probably throughout the day, because I'm going to let y'all see what I do as I'm getting myself together for the concert. Oh, y'all, it's going to be a whole thing. I feel like I'm going to produce some reels today because I'm feeling really. All right, y'all. Look, I love you guys. The life and life more abundant. Have an absolutely amazing, incredible, and epic day. Be blessed. Mwah!